Hello, everybody. All right, welcome to the mic stand. Today is, of course, um, Sunday, August
16th.
August 16th. Thank you. 2026. You guys know I wasn't feeling too well towards the end of last week. Kind of had some stomach issues pop up on Thursday morning. Just wouldn't leave me till Saturday. So, basically ended up getting one of those things where whether you want to call it God or life or whatever you want to call it, something beyond me just decided, Mike, you need to take a time out. You need to take a break. And if making you feel like icky, is gonna force you into that break, so be it. Let's see. We do have some comments, of course. Let's see. And of course, icky meaning like, of course, a euphemism. Yeah, I'll try not to be too graphic on that aspect. Sure, not everybody wants to. So, Natsuri says, hello, Mike. Hello, Metal. I was expecting someone else to be the guest. Well, yeah. Okay, so when I was contacting Eric earlier this week, before I got sick and all that, confirm, make sure he was going to be able to make it. He mentioned to me that I guess he had to help his mom move into her new apartment. I guess she got an apartment sooner than he thought that she would. So he had to unfortunately bow out. But I was fortunate enough to be able to, for Metal to graciously fill in for him, and I do appreciate that.
Oh, that's also why my name for today is a reference to the movie Clerks. It says Dante Hicks. I'm not even supposed to be here today.
Yeah. He will be back though 2 weeks from now. You are scheduled for 2 weeks from now. And if Shadowhawk, I'm hoping Shadowhawk won't pull the same thing, but if he does, I'll call Rick in that particular case, just so you guys aren't like, because I had Rick last week, of course, so I didn't want to have you guys feeling like I was bunching you all up like crazy. That's why I called on you. But that's it. Let's get to some of the metal. So from random. And we do have
Raul.
Yeah. Let's see. It shows us saying hi, everybody. And we got an active chat tonight. Hail. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, I've been here for most nights for nearly 2 years. Yep, you have. That's true. Probably have been one of the regulars for a while in that series. Hi, Fizz. So, anyways,
I usually have it on most nights. I'm not just always in the chat. Sometimes I'm just too busy.
Yeah, but as I'm sure those in the chat as well, we all appreciate your input. Metal. When you do show up. Let's see. If you haven't seen my latest video, I went to watch the end of Oak Street yesterday. Well, I did see that you had. I did see you had a. I did see that you had a. I did get the notification on it to show though. So, anyways, let's see. I think I did make you a mod. So if you want to share that, so everybody go check that out if they should choose to. You're more than welcome to. Let's see. Yeah, okay. So actually, in fact, I'm gonna do one more thing here. Since Net Series did make a good point. They've been here for
3 years.
Well, yeah, for 2 to 3 years here. So let me see. Trying to. What's going on here now? Go to gym. Oh, there we go. They hit it. They hit it.
Yeah.
I was trying to find the add the mod button, but now they put it down at the bottom.
I've been blunt about this too. Sometimes I don't talk, not because I'm not at my computer. I mean, that is sometimes the case where I'll just have my mic on the TV, but sometimes it's because I am genuinely busy, and I don't want to be one of those random days where Mike tries to peer pressure me onto coming onto the show because, like, I want your input on this thing.
Okay, you know I wasn't trying to pressure you.
Sure, yeah.
I hope you seriously don't think I was trying to pressure you. I'm hoping you're just joking with me on that.
I'll let you interpret that the way you will.
Well, thank you anyways. I do appreciate that. Let's see. And that's right. The next time you comment, you should find a nice little surprise next time you comment. Apparently, there is an invasive zebra population in California. Now, have to look more into it. Well, I haven't heard anything about it, but then again, I don't pay a lot of attention to too much, like what would be called major news. But anyways, oh sweet, in blue with police badge. Do you know? Let's see. Thanks, man. Well, not sure. Do you know what that means? When your name gets turned to blue and
it
you
means
get like
you have
a little
gun and can shoot people in the chat who don't have guns.
I know what it means. I manage a Discord server. All right, so you're basically a mod. You're a mod with basic mod powers. You can share links if you want. If there's any projects you're doing, you can share links. You can do that kind of thing. So, you the man. All right. I don't know who you're saying you the man is, but I can smite the evil finally. Yeah, but at least the thing is, I think for the most part, we don't have too many gate crashers or too many people just coming in to just stir trouble. So
yeah, you used to have a regular or two that did that, but they haven't been around for a long time. Did you finally block them?
Well, okay, I've had a couple, and the two that I had a while back, I blocked a while back. Okay, one of them, of course, is now deceased. That was Testify.
Yeah, I remember that.
And the other one was, of course, JDA. JDA was, you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know JDA.
Yeah. So,
I've been on panel with him a few times.
Yeah, and for whatever reason, if anything, you could almost make the argument he was actually almost goading Testify into. I mean, there was like the whole thing with, well, I mean,
he does like to stir the pot.
Back to RJ. You go back to RJ's channel, and you go back a couple years to, I think, July. I don't know if it was 22 or 23 or something like that. And you'll see why I ultimately ended up blocking Testify and eventually JDA as well. So I'm not. Of course, I have no need to go into all that again here, and we have funner things to talk about than that stuff. But anyways, speaking of which, um, speaking of which, um, so this week we're going to be looking at books from. We're going to be looking at Crash Comics number 5, final issue, that particular issue from what was known back then as Temerson Publishing. But of course, before we do that, let me at least that series last since your 6th bill, I finally fixed my computer, so I'll be here all the time, hopefully. Well, yeah. So maybe as I said, whether you want to call it God or life or the or the fairies or whatever you want to, whatever mystical or metaphysical force you want to attribute to it. Sometimes you just get those curveballs thrown at you where it may just end up, it may be beneficial to many people involved.
Oh, you don't want fairies in your house.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm just utilizing
unless
that.
It's like a puck. Maybe you could have like a puck in your house. That'd be fine, but you wouldn't want anything else.
Yeah. I think you get where I'm going, though, Metal. Anyways, with all that being said, of course, I'm going to hand it off to Metal for a moment so that he can do his shtick. I think you know what we're about to do, right there, Metal.
I have to do something. Hey, I'm the Metal. I'm a guy. I do guy things. What are guy things, you ask? Anything a guy does. I create stuff over at xdynamuschaos.com, which has a bunch of fiction that I make all within the same universe, as well as a tabletop game that I'm working on, which actually that's the main priority right now. I've had several streams. Well, actually, I've been on one stream with Rick where we made his character and had a few off-air recordings that are like the length of a stream that you can go and watch over on the X Dynamus Chaos YouTube channel. I'm not plugging anything else link-wise related to X Dynamus Chaos because you could just go to the website and find all of the links on the sidebar. It's more convenient that way than me dropping a bunch of things in chat. But it's fun. It's cool. You can waste hours there, genuinely, if you have not read everything already. So, bookmark it, subscribe to it, get the updates as a newsletter to your email, whatever you got to do. It's there. That's it.
Well, you also recently did a couple of gaming streams too, right?
I did a singular one. I do have to do another one probably this week before the patch ends. I don't know when. I should have done these a while back, but I've just been so swamped that I haven't been able to get around to them until like one day last week,
Right. All right. So aside from what I've already asked, anything more you want to pitch?
Nah.
Alrighty then. So with that being said then, well, let's see. Reminds me I should upload a video onto my channel soon. Oh yeah. I mean, watching videos on YouTube is great, but sometimes being a creator can be just as satisfying, depending upon what your goals are for it, But with that being said, let's get into the main course of the evening.
Mike, I think someone's knocking at your door.
No, that was me doing the old drum beat on my.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. If you say so.
That was me just drum beating on my desk here, just kind of the drum roll bit. So, and tonight, with us just doing one comment, we're gonna just kind of run through it. So we'll probably just choose stories at random. I imagine. Well, let's see. So, Metal, do you just want to just commentate again tonight, or do you?
Yeah, I'll just commentate.
All right. So we'll go ahead and get started here then. All right. So, Crash Comics. That's the Catman with eyes that shine like searchlights. That's the Catman. So on the cover there, you got the Catman. And there have been a few Catman characters throughout comics history. This is one, most of us know of the DC. I think of a couple of the DC versions, but here's one here that
My favorite Catman isn't even from a comic, but it was the Batman parody character played by Adam West in the Fairly Odd Parents.
Oh, well, you know what's kind of funny. Speaking of parody, I guess parody characters, or at least pastiches, I guess might be the word. You remember the Justice League episode Legends?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they had the Golden Age Batman pastiche being named, well, kind of a combination of Batman and Wildcat. Catman in that one too.
Yep.
Yeah, so you got Catman on the main part of the cover, then you got Strongman, the Blue Streak, Buck Burke, Secret Agent 22.
Is that 22? Almost looks like a Z2.
Oh, okay, maybe Z2. I really couldn't tell. I was like thinking it was 22, but I guess Z2 because I think that is actually the name of Shangri. $0.10 in Canada, 15 cents. The only human with 9 lives, the sensational Catman in this issue. It's kind of funny because I don't know if he's debuting here or not, but if he is debuting, kind of ironic that he debuted in the final issue of a particular. Now, here's the thing too. So, Temerson / Holyoke came out with Catman comics, a little after this as well. So, there was something.
Yeah, well, it just turns out they really liked Catman, just not the thing that he came from.
Read the 3 outstanding comic magazines at all newsstands. Crash Comics with the sensational new character, the Catman. The only human with 9 lives. Also, the superhuman of the comic, Strongman. Speed Comics with the inimitable Shock Gibson. And Whirlwind Comics with the dynamic Cyclone character and the ace of the airways, the Masked Pilot.
I think I've read all of these characters except for the new Catman, obviously, with you on stream before.
Oh, look at this. So weren't you just saying how there were just kind of certain times, and it seems like you realized you read characters with me before?
Oh, yeah. Because I'm like looking through the list, I'm like, yep, read Shock Gibson. Yep, I've read that one. Yep, read that one too.
Yeah, so, well, not just that, but that was like the whole Centaur running gag.
Oh, yeah, no, there was like 2 times in a row that I ended up on like a Speed Centaur one, just because of the way the schedule ended up working out.
Yeah. Let's see. I think the DC Catman is a misogynist as his main gimmick.
Based.
Well, okay. There were actually 2 Catmen. There was one on Earth 2 and one on Earth 1. The Earth 2 Catman, okay, that was Carl Kyle. He was actually the brother of Selena Kyle. He was also
that makes sense.
He was also nicknamed the King of Cats. He he was more like a kind of a petty thief kind of criminal, you know. And then there was Thomas Blake, on Earth One, who was kind of more of a hunt. Now, the Thomas Blake one was the one that was depicted in the Justice League Unlimited episode. The Cat and Canary is one of the kind of like lower tier villains that fought.
But I think is I like my characters, like my heroic characters, to have like at least one really strong flaw, right? Like you want to like them, but there needs to at least be something you dislike about them, because I'm not even to say that makes them more relatable. It just makes them more interesting as a character, right? So it's like I wouldn't want to encourage somebody to be like hateful towards women in real life, but having a character who like that's his strong flaw makes him a more interesting character, especially if you have that flaw bite them in the butt sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think wasn't Hawkeye also like that at first? I think Hawkeye used to be kind of like
I'm not
really,
sure.
really rude.
I haven't really read any Hawkeye, so I couldn't tell you. Like I know more like the deeper past and maybe some basic information on a lot of DC stuff, but I haven't like had as much of the opportunity to go in depth in Marvel, totally.
Oh, I've never read Catman.
Well, both DC Catmen are villains. Both of them are. No.
Oh no, Deadshot was. I swear, like maybe he wasn't like outwardly described, but I swear Hawkeye was really, really rude to women originally.
You're getting Hawkeye and Deadshot mixed up. Anyways, as we shall continue on now with the story here. Strongman. Strongman, the mighty man of tomorrow. Among the ordinary people of today, a man of muscle and mentality with the strength of countless humans and a brain without peer. As a crusader for good against evil, he dares any feat regardless of danger. We find him now, a short time after he has saved the people of Scanlandia from the horrors of war. Scanlandia, is that supposed to be their world version of Scandinavia or something like
that? I was thinking maybe. I have no clue. Maybe look at how green it is. Maybe the southern end of the Scandinavian countries, but
well, yeah, I mean, it's funny because I know this for a fact with quality in particular, where you had a lot of these countries that they just invented out of thin air to help kind of mirror what's going on in the real world. So they wouldn't actually.
Yeah, like I could see it. It does get pretty green in like Norway and stuff in the south end during the summer. So like maybe.
Yeah. But, well, I was just pointing out because of the name, but anyways. From the horrors of war, in the guise of Percy Van Norton, happy-go-lucky playboy. I think it's supposed to be playboy, but the letterer kind of messed up there. I don't know if you can see that or not.
I don't know. Maybe Playboy is just something we've never heard of. It's just trapped in the past.
Yeah. On the way to the theater in Polaria, where he is vacationing with friends. All right, so yeah, considering they were talking about war, I wasn't sure which meaning of theater they're talking about there, but I think based on the context, I think they're talking more about like theaters and like a movie theater. But I guess we'll find out soon enough here.
Yeah, no, I think they are probably talking about the stage of war, probably. You know,
In the
but
taxi.
it does look like they're
Oh,
getting
go ahead.
tickets, doesn't it?
Yeah.
They might be talking about a literal theater.
Yeah, well, as we see right there, in the taxi, the beginning of what promises to be a gay afternoon, and in this case, we know that it's more of the older meaning, not the newer meaning.
Yeah, like Mary.
Happy festive. So,
Have a
nice.
gay old time.
Yeah, from the Flintstones. Well, Percy, at least you're good for a laugh. Well, that's something. Good old, good old Polaria. It's a peaceful, happy land. All right. As Percy is about to buy tickets, he glances skyward. He glances skyward and sees something that attracts his attention. I have to break away from here. I don't like the looks of what I see. You go inside, folks. I'll be along soon. I need a drink. That's you all over, Percy. Okay, let's go, but don't drink too much. Oh boy. In the distance of his super sight, um, in the distance, his super sight sees parachutist. The sixth column, Polaria is in danger. He quickly hops into the cab and changes to his strongman clothes. Here's your fare. Keep the change. Hey, you ain't the guy who hired this cab. Okay, now
Should I not pay attention the whole time this guy was changing?
Well, I mean, he was probably just staying focused on the road, you know, probably trying to make sure that he didn't crash or anything like that.
No, does strongman have any way of making people not know that he's strongman? Because you look at this guy and he's got the same face. All he's doing is wearing different clothes, right? Now, if you weren't primed already to think they were the same person, I could perfectly understand not thinking the same person. But a dude enters your car. A dude leaves your car. They're wearing different clothes, but they have the same face. Why would you suddenly think it's a different person? Like this one kind of just stretches the belief here.
Yeah, and we've talked several times about how comics of this era did this, right? Where they just really stretch the realm of believability, right? All right. So, anyways, continuing on with the story here, of course.
Yeah, but
Metal, are you still there? I heard a ding, and then I guess you went off. I guess we lost Metal.
I
Oh,
am. I seem to be getting some lag here.
okay. Because well, yeah, I do notice that because you do seem to be coming in and out a little bit, but also I heard at one point I heard almost what sounded like a ding, and then you like went off for a moment, and then you finally came back.
Yeah, I don't know what the
You want to try to refresh?
uh,
Maybe go out and come back.
the problem is.
Yeah, you're really getting choppy now. Yeah, that's just what I was suggesting.
Yeah, I need to leave and come
All right,
back in.
why don't you try that? I'll wait for you to come back, and then we'll continue. Let's see what let's see. It's fine on my end. I think it's Metal's in. Yeah, that's probably could be it because. Well, as I was saying, what I was hearing that he'd kind of be coming in a little choppy. It's like, um, so we'll give him a moment to come back in. All right. Oh wait. Oh yeah, see right there. Something might be going on. Well, not really. Oh, okay. So, how you doing now, Metal?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. At least for first line there, you were clear.
Yeah, I don't think it's my internet. I think it's my computer. I think that's the problem. My computer is old and dying.
Hmm.
Even as I tried to refresh it, there was an issue where the page didn't want to die, so I had to like kill off Chrome and come back in.
Right. I noticed that because I tried to bring you back in a little too soon, and
Yeah,
uh, so
like it was like not responding. It's like it wouldn't even leave the page.
let's see. We have some people who had some interesting commentary here. Mike Tann's in trouble. Laugh out loud. Yeah, it sounds like he's on the has a phone in the internet. See. Call Rick.
Rick's busy.
Yeah. See. Rick will save the day. The bat phone. You sound crystal clear. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think Chrome was just using too many resources, so like I had to refresh something or whatever.
Okay. Pop, can you hear me?
Papa, can you hear me?
All right. So yeah, and you sound like now you are indeed coming in pretty clear now. So
For now, anyway.
hopefully. I use Firefox by.
Oh no, I don't use Firefox anymore. Firefox uses even more resources than Chrome. I used to, like way back. I don't like the way they run it anymore. I usually use Brave for most things, which is a Chromium-based browser, but because of the way my audio and everything is set up, I have to use Chrome for StreamYard specifically.
Huh. All right. So, anyways, well, now that you're back, let's get back to the the stories here. And some other stuff here. All right. Too late for that one. Here's his parachute. I'll wait here for others. Looking up far above the sky. That first one was just a scout. Here comes the first parachute company. I must stop them. I'll make one long rope out of all the pieces. And from a nearby rock, he fashions a boomerang with his powerful hands. I mean, wow! You've got to be a strong man if you're gonna mold a rock into a boomerang.
I'm trying to think how that happens. Yeah. I feel like it'd be easier to just like carve the rock into a boomerang than try to mold it, but yeah.
I'll have to hurry. I'll have to hurry. They're more than halfway down now. It's a good thing I don't need a chisel for this work. This ought to do the trick. I should ready them. I should reach them just as they land. The boomerang rope tingles the parachute. There, my little butterflies. Strongman captures the entire company. Nice of you gentlemen to call, especially since you brought me some elegant shooting irons. You are not so clever, mine fine friend. Soon comes a whole army from the skies into Polaria. A big surprise you are going to get.
Are these guys supposed to be Germans?
That's what I'm thinking.
What's Polaria? Poland? Are we all just like really close names that aren't the actual names?
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. Let's see. Firefox is terrible. It is a terrible browser now. So Opera used that. I haven't used Opera in years, but I have heard a newer version is better.
Oh yeah, I actually used to. In some ways, Opera used to be my main browser, but in a weird roundabout way. So Nintendo used to use Opera as their built-in browser, if you didn't know that, for both the Wii and for the DS, which the DS didn't have a built-in browser. You had to get a actual cartridge for the Nintendo DS to let you browse the internet like a video game, and it needed a Game Boy Advance cartridge in the bottom for memory, like storage, for the cache of using the internet. And I used to browse the internet all the time with that. But I've used it on the computer too. Very, very different than the new one now. Opera GX is just a completely different thing altogether. But I've heard it's pretty lightweight. I just don't know if it'll make a difference. Maybe I'll try.
Yeah. Anyways, we continue on now, of course. Oh yeah, we did that. But in the sky, but in a few moments, the sky is blackened with new arrivals. You boys weren't fooling, were you? We never make jokes. Now you pay for your interference. Huge things. Two are dropped. All right, kind of a weird grammatical structure there in the writing. The sixth column lands in full force. So, for those who may not know,
say the fifth column.
Yeah. Well, and shall we explain what the fifth column was?
If you want to.
Just for reference sake, the fifth column, of course, was I believe it was the internal. It was basically those here in the States who are secretly working for the Nazis to kind of undermine America's influence in the war, basically. Try to keep them out of the war.
Yeah, that's more or less my understanding of it. They were a subversive force.
Right. Strongman attacks. The best defense is a strong offense. Shoot down that crazy man.
That's usually my attitude in video games and like multiplayer. If all the enemies are dead, you don't need to defend anything.
There must be thousands of them in Palladia by this time. Down with Palladia! He fights like a demon, but he cannot win against us. Hopelessly outnumbered, Strongman decides to break away and warn the Polarian commander-in-chief. Wait for me, gentlemen. I'm going to get some of my friends. Bullets don't stop him. Man the liquid cement gun. Yeah, Lieutenant. That will fix him.
See, it's a good thing I'm not doing voices because I'm reading these in like the most stereotypical, flamboyant German accents in my head. It's awful to try to get me to read anything in German.
Yeah. He is imprisoned in a thick wall of cement. Instantaneously it dries. Ach, it is wonderful. He looks like a statue of liberty. He expands his chest.
Honestly, I don't think he looks like the Statue of Liberty in the slightest.
He expands his chest. Nimmel! If it wasn't impossible. If it wasn't impossible, I'd say the cement was cracking. It's too early in the year for such a warm overcoat. I still don't believe it. I'll get him with a heavy artillery cannon shell. The enemy fires a huge cannon shell point blank at Strongman. What a break. Here, taxi. For 20 miles, that shell will carry the pieces of him through the thickest steel wall it would penetrate. In a split second, Strongman hops atop the shell. 20 miles is just as far as I want to go. This shell will explode when it lands. I better take steps.
Yeah, I don't think it's going 20 miles. It's a original trajectory based on its weight. Now you have added weight on it. It's not getting that far.
How far with his added weight? Going on what you might think the.
Oh God, I couldn't even tell you that. That's a lot of math I'd have to be running up right now. Okay, because I'd have to think about like the weight of the shell and how fast it'd have to be moving in whatever arch to be able to get 20 miles. Maybe if I'm generous, it might lose a mile or two. But like, I really don't even want to throw out a number because that's a lot of very complex math. It could be way shorter. It could be like 15 miles.
All right, well, I guess we'll wait and see for when the time comes. As the shell begins to slow down, Strongman takes it apart with his steel-like fingers. If I do this, there'll be nothing to explode.
Like the other problem to trying to figure that out is like, yeah, that's the base math of if he was already riding it when it started flying, right, to count his weight. But now he's actually changing its trajectory by jumping onto it, right? So then there's a different angle of acceleration that is changing its angular momentum. So that's going to completely change the trajectory altogether.
And let's see. Yes, I'm not sure he was saying something here. I used a DS browser or D6 browser. I managed to do an email on it.
Yeah, the DSi was the kind of like digital version of the DS that came after it that actually had an operating system with a browser built in. The 3DS basically built a better version of the DSi's operating system and also had the same browser. I probably have like 1,000 hours on the internet browser for the 3DS because for a period of time, I didn't even have a computer. because like my last one had broken. And it was like the only way I could browse the computer, like the internet at all, was through this really, really bad internet browser on the Nintendo 3DS.
All right. Yeah. All right. All right. So let's see now.
See, unfortunately, the way I live my life, I tend to use computers until they can't be used anymore. So I go through periods of time where I just don't have a computer.
Well, yeah, because they can be pretty expensive.
Oh, yeah. Especially the ones that need to do what I need them to do. They usually cost at least $1,000.
Yep. When I got this one, that's about what I spent for it. If Percy Van Norton's friends could only see him now. He alights at the office of the commander-in-chief and warns him of the approaching danger. A huge 6-column army has been landed within your borders. As your friend, I advise you to mobilize the army at once. I don't understand. We are at peace and unprepared. But I shall do as you say. No nation is safe as long as the aggressor lives. Now that's a very interesting for the most part, in most of the comics of this time period, the Axis powers were always referred to as aggressors, right? That was kind of an.
I mean, they were pretty aggressive. They were actively invading other people's lands, so you know.
Right. Yeah, I just in finding a way to dance around it without actually.
Yeah.
The actual correct term, that's what I was marveling at. But anyways. The commander-in-chief mobilizes his army by radio. My fellow countrymen, the enemy is within our gates. Every able-bodied male must report to the headquarters instantly if Polaria is to be saved. Polaria mobilizes its army in no time. Wow, despite the fact that they were in peace, they were able to mobilize that quickly. That's pretty amazing. Strongman has returned in an army car to the fray. Hello, gentlemen. You don't seem very glad to see me. My friends will be along in a little while. Emil! It's that impossible man again. Let's finish him off with the buzzsaw hurlers. Oh, I've seen these weapons before in 70s cartoons, haven't you? There.
Oh yeah. They're not really good weapons, if you think about it. Like, they're not horrible, but the problem is due to wind. And they're basically sails. It's really hard to predict their trajectory. Like on a still day, you can launch them like frisbees at people, but on a very windy day, much like a frisbee, they might not end up where you want them to go.
Did you ever see the cartoon Silverhawks?
I think I've seen an episode or two. I that's about it though.
Yeah, it was a Rankin Bass production. You probably heard me talk about it a little bit before.
Yeah, I mean, I'm familiar with it, but I think I've probably only ever seen like a full episode or two.
So there was a character in the mob who had basically, his name actually was Buzzsaw. He was a huge robot, and basically one of his main powers was, he had buzzsaws on his hands like this, and he'd throw them or shoot them off at people. Now, again, in the galaxy of Limbo, apparently the outer space part of Limbo apparently has atmosphere. Apparently,
Yeah, apparently.
so, but anyways, the enemy hurls whirling buzzsaws. I was just reminded of buzzsaw with this kind of gimmick here. To mincemeat, they will cut you. I don't like mincemeat.
I like mincemeat. I just don't want to be it.
You like it, you just don't want to be it or eat it?
Yeah. I like to eat mincemeat. I don't want to be mincemeat. Like.
Yeah, I don't think anybody wants to be mincemeat.
Well, I wouldn't say that nobody wants to be mincemeat. There are some weird people out there. I would say it's an astonishingly rare trait that somebody wants to be mincemeat.
Yeah. You guys are just a bunch of cut-ups. Oh boy. He's being humorous, isn't he? Donner! Wetter meet his bare hands. He's ripping off the saw teeth. Meanwhile, the mobilized army of the Polarians marched to face the enemy. We shall die to the last man before we yield to the aggressor. But within the ranks of the small Polarian army, this is their tag. When we reach the sixth column, we do our part. These stupid Polarians don't know how well we have prepared the attack. The sixth column gets ready for its dirty work. Get ready and put your mask on. We shall soon put this little army to sleep.
Let's see.
Tabs. Go ahead.
Poland makes the most sense if we're looking at like the trajectory the actual war took, right? But if I were to call anybody the Polarians, it would probably be a fictional country that was near the very top of Scandinavia, right? Like one that was actually near the North Pole. But this is way too green to be there, furthering me thinking it's Poland.
Yeah. I have word from the column that the Polarian army is only a mile away. They will lose ground when we send more gas from here. They have no gas mask. The tanks will destroy their army. They'll never wake up. Strongman takes the offensive again. The less of you there are left, the better the Polarians will like it. As the Polarian army draws near, the sixth column within it lags to the rear to block the retreat. When the gas starts to take effect, these fools will try to retreat, but we shall block their retreat. On to victory, Polarians. Thank heaven for a friend like you. Fury breaks loose. Strongman joins the Polarian ranks. Bang! Bang! We are advancing against them. You men show great courage. We are retreating. It's time for gas attack.
Dude, gas was also such a bad weapon, right? Like, now it's kind of just banned from like a Geneva Convention perspective, but like none of those conventions hold any water unless you're the winner and can enforce it. But like it was still bad because remember how I was complaining about the buzzsaws and the wind earlier? Well, that's just one thing that can be moved by the wind. The problem with like gas attacks are if the wind decides to shift in the middle of the attack, the gas could just blow right back onto your army. And that's a lot. It's an ambient thing that's like everywhere.
You know what you're talking about, right?
And that happened several times.
Right. Well, yeah. Well, here's the other thing. Here's what this kind of reminds me of too, of course. So YouTube there's a channel on YouTube called Hasbro Pulse. Right?
Yep.
I don't know if you've seen it. They do have like a set of 24-hour channels, like for doing like they'll have like season 1 of G.I. Joe, season 2 of G.I. Joe.
Yeah, it'll just be a stream, and it'll just be constantly playing all the way through.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, in of course the Transformers season 1, there was the episode. Part of it was a 3-part episode that featured Dr. Arkeville, where Megatron had brought Cybertron to Earth. There was a scene in there where Starscream was leading an attack against the Autobots with him and Thundercracker, and Starscream was ordering Thundercracker open fire. So he actually shoots fire out of his guns, basically, right?
Yeah.
And the fire basically gets blown right back in his face, basically.
And that could happen with a heavy enough wind. It's less likely to happen with a flamethrower, specifically if a flamethrower is operating the way it's supposed to, because a flamethrower is shooting out propellant, right? That's on fire. So there's a little more mass to that. But wind can drastically change the dynamic of it, right? Like if there's a crosswind, it could be like skewing off and blowing to the left or the right, depending on the way the wind's going. If there's a heavy enough wind, though, the propellant could be launched back into you. Like if it's, I don't know, if somebody was like a jet and had like a jet engine was blowing it at you, or if we were like gale force winds or something, that could probably do it. Yeah.
So of course, Starscream was voiced by Chris Latta, the late Chris Latta. Thundercracker was voiced by the late John Stevenson. And so the next set of lines came from Trailbreaker and Jazz. Of course, Trailbreaker voiced by Frank Welker, and Jazz being voiced by the late, great Scatman Crothers. But Trailbreaker goes, yeah, I've heard of a hot foot, but that's the first hot nose I've seen. Because having the fire blow back, of course, they call the front of the plane or, the nose of the plane. So, he basically pointing out how the fire got blown back into his nose, so.
Also, like, why would you even want a flamethrower as a weapon if, like, your main thing you're fighting is Transformers, right? Like, big metal machines. It's not like it does 0 damage, but it's, like, very ineffective compared to other things. Flamethrowers are something you use against organics, like humans.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's kind of funny, too, because, let's see. I really love tanks.
Same. Tanks are awesome.
Yeah. Well, what's kind of funny is because of course, throughout most of them, their primary weapon usually is laser fire. lasers are their main weapons.
Yeah, which is probably actually more like a really supercharged plasma shot, which is like, yeah, that'll cut through metal. Yeah, absolutely. Like that makes sense
But
for
for what, and it's kind of funny because Thundercracker was even saying, "But the wind's against us," and then Sergeant goes, "Fire!"
Yeah.
And he literally used. So it was kind of interesting, though. But
anyway. Yeah, but that's to point out that Starscream's entire character is that he's notoriously not bright. Like he's a schemer. He can stab people in the back, but when it comes to the military strategy, he was always really bad at it.
Well, the thing was they depicted maybe from a military standpoint, he wasn't the sharpest tool in the drawer.
Very Machiavellian, though.
Yeah, but he wasn't necessarily like adult,
No.
I mean, he could have played prior to the war. He was known as they pointed out on a few occasions that he did have some level of scientific knowledge. I mean,
I don't mean to call him dumb, but like he just was never good in the battlefield. He's not a good fighter. He's not good at strategy when it comes to that, but he's really good at playing like the background game.
Yeah. And, the treachery bit,
Yeah.
So. And of course, the way Chris Latta did his voice, it was so apropos that he was named Starscream.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if I don't know if you've ever watched the G1 cartoons before.
Yeah, I grew up on reruns of it.
Yeah. So. Anyway, well, I mean, even if you had it, you can always go to, as I said, Hasbro Pulse and watch.
My big problem was like maybe I should sometime. I remember I've had several conversations on my shows about the original Transformers, and the thing is, like, I'll always talk to older people who watched it when it was new, so they have like an idea of what it is in chronological order. I've only caught it in random order of reruns, so like. When I saw the movie for the first time, it didn't make a lot of sense necessarily because I'm trying to piece together which episodes I saw took place before and after the movie. Because like I saw them in complete random order. I couldn't tell you what season an episode I saw was from.
Yeah. Well, I think the credit to Hasbro Pulse right there that they do put episodes in chronological order there, more or less. So.
Yeah, it's one of those shows I've always been meaning to go back and rewatch in chronological order.
Well, you can on YouTube. If you go
yeah, of course.
So he screamed a lot. He said, the way he did his voice, the way Chris Latta did his voice, it did sound like kind of a scream in a way.
Well, it actually sounded like somebody who was always screaming, and this is what it did to your voice. Right, like even when he was like normal level, it's like that type of hoarse, scratchy, like, this is a guy who screams a lot, even when he's not screaming.
Right, and he used somewhat of a similar voice pattern with Cobra Commander too. In the
yeah.
Well, anyways, let's get back to the story here. I know we're already past the hour mark here, so it should be trying to move along a little bit here. The sixth column attacks with gas. These fans will blow the gas toward the Polarians. These fans will blow the gas towards the Polarians. We won't even have to wear our mask.
Oh, that sounds like it's going to backfire on you. I would have put my mask on anyway.
Mm-hmm. Always better to be safe than sorry, right?
Oh yeah.
Looks like dirty work at the crossroads.
Especially with the way your day's been going, you don't know what this strong man's capable of. He might just pick up like a tree and use it like a giant fan and start blowing it back even harder than your things can go. Like you might as well put those.
Or as we've seen many of that particular archetype of superhero,
he might just start blowing.
He may do something like this.
Yeah, he could do that. He might just have strong enough lungs to blow it back harder than the fans. He might start spinning around like a tornado and like carrying the gas. Who knows what this guy's going to do? Put your mask on, guys.
he takes suitable action. This is the way we deal with the traitors. I know that wasn't really a song.
I can imagine him singing it. Yeah. This
mean,
guy's like running through the battlefield all
right?
jolly like.
Yeah. Well, I mean, think about it too. Like, this is the way. I mean, you know what? That's kind of a start to, right?
Yeah,
This is the way we wash our clothes.
Yeah. This is the way we wash your face early in the morning.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so the fifth column is foiled, but the sixth column starts the gas attack. Gas, the men are growing sleepy. This is the end of the Polonian army. Now we shall take over the entire nation of Palatia. I'm so sleepy. We are lost. Not yet. Watch this, General. Strongman inflates his barrel. Yeah, I think
they're going with the blow route. Yep.
Yeah. To full capacity. Yep, you said it there, Metal.
Well, I'm not even going to say I called it. I gave like 5 or 6 different options of possibilities.
Yeah, any one of them.
Covered all the bases.
Right. With all his strength, he blows the gas back into the faces of the enemy. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
The sixth column is taken by surprise. He's blowing the gas back at us.
No, I didn't call the method because I gave too many options and pick one. But I guess you could say I called that it was the gas was going to blow back to it. The second they said gas, I'm like, this gas is coming back in your face. That's just the way this story is going.
Let's see. What was I? Yeah, they should have put on their gas mask, obviously.
Always put on your gas mask. Come on.
Yeah. Oh, wait, I know what I wanted to say. It reminds me in certain animes when they have like a bird fly over and go, fall, fall, fall. You know what I'm talking about, right, Metal?
Do I? I'm trying to think.
Because there have been a few animes out there where I know Naruto is one of them, for example, where there'll be times when a character does something kind of stupid, and it's like they'll have this bird, usually I think it's a raven or a crow or something, and they'll just be squawking, fall, fall.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think the few times I've seen that, I've seen it in Japanese, which makes more sense because like crows and ravens, they go ka, ka, but the Japanese word for fool is baka. So it actually just kind of sounds like the crow is cawing, like baka, 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 baka.
Yeah. Of course, I'm talking about the English dub version, but
but I'm like, I don't know if I've seen that in the English dubs. So I'm like trying to place it in my head. It's like I know what you're talking about. I know the trope.
Yeah. The Polarian army chases the enemy. The sixth column looks like a sick column. Little play on words there, huh?
Yeah, I think they're a pretty sick word I don't want to say on your show.
Yeah. They might end up having some of the same stomach problems I had the other day.
Oh, that wasn't the type of sick I was talking about. Yeah, they look like they're that sick too.
Yeah. But when victory for the Polarians seems near, reinforcements for the enemy. Don't give up yet, General. Dive bombers, we are lost. All right, maybe I should have read it the other way, but oh well. With a powerful thrust, Strongman deflects the bomb before it lands so that it smashes into the enemy ranks.
Yeah, I don't blame you for reading in the order you did. They barely put the other one slightly higher than the other. If you want somebody to read a specific order, there's got to be a lot more elevation change on the page, which I get on to people that I edit their stuff all the time, right? I'm like, if you want people to read in the order you're writing it, you're going to have to change where some of these balloons are, or else people are just going to read it straight across.
Mm-hmm. This reminds me of my handball days. Now I know maybe it was a little different when you were okay. So
I used to play handball.
Yeah, and actually, handball was a part of my my APE classes as well. But when the games of handball I played, it'd be more of a bigger ball, bigger rubber ball that we would hit with our fist. I do know that I've seen later in life where I guess there's a smaller rubber ball that people will just use with the palm of their hands to hit.
Yeah, they would. So even that one had been around even longer, but obviously that's harder for kids to do. So if you're going to be doing it in PE, when I was in PE, we started with basically the same ball you would use for dodgeball, right? But it's basically the same ball.
Same with me as a kid.
Yeah. But the professional handball, or if you're an adult using it as a hobby, it's like a racquetball. They would just use the same ball that you would use for indoor racquetball.
Right.
Which I've done as an adult too. It's fun,
Yeah.
It hurts your hand after a while. It's harder than the dodgeball is. But you'll get good calluses on your hands if you want it.
Yeah. Well, when we played dodgeball in my so I when I was in school, at least in elementary school, I would have what they called APE, which stands for Adaptive Physical Education. It's basically for those students who have some physical issues, right?
Yeah, whether it's asthma or something or whatever.
Well, in my case, and with the particular classes I had, it was we were classified as OH, or orthopedically handicapped. Most of us had some form of cerebral palsy, that affected us in some ways, where, in my case, it affected my fine motor skills a lot more than my gross motor skills. So,
I am actually part of the last generation of widespread dodgeball in PE classes. Now, there's some schools that still did it anyway. So, I don't know, maybe somebody younger in the audience might have played dodgeball still, but I'm talking about widespread across the nation. My class was one of the last classes to have that in the regular curriculum.
Well, it's funny because by the time I did get to high school and I was doing more regular PE, we never did dodgeball. There was the main sport. We did we did softball as opposed to baseball.
I didn't have PE in high school because you could just do a sport, right? And as a generally athletic guy, I did golf for a couple of years and I did judo, right? So I just substituted my PE for an actual sport activity. But in middle school, I was still doing it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but not all of it. I mean, I actually did once consider trying to go for the football team. One of my PE teachers, one of the coaches from the football team, who was also one of the PE teachers, he had me do a test, right? He basically told me to run towards one of the other PE teachers.
Yeah.
Tag him and then come back to him, to see how fast I was. And he said that, I wasn't fast enough, but part of it too was because of how my body moved. When I, running straight like that, I would take, obviously, I would take a wider turn.
Yeah.
I was one of those who could gain momentum, straight forward, and then, but in order to turn, I would take a very wide turn.
Yeah, you're probably thinking like, yeah, man, you got the shoulders, but you just don't got the speed to not be on the bench the whole season.
Mm-hmm. So, anyways, back to the why did we ever leave home? The enemy
Good question.
The enemy is routed. This way to the borderline. This way to the borderline. We're finished.
Actually reminds me of one of my favorite lesser-known lines by Kyle Heber, right? Was from a Newgrounds collab that he voiced in called Super Nintendo. And at the very end, he voiced the character Taboo from Smash Brothers Brawl. And after they beat him, he's like flying backwards, sinking into space. And he's like, I can't believe I showered for this.
Yeah. Well, I haven't heard much of Kyle's more recent work, because
this was back in like
I don't watch a lot of the more.
Think.
Huh?
This was back in like 2008, I think. Like this is pretty old, but
2008.
But it was like it was an internet cartoon that on Newgrounds, like a big collab that a bunch of people were in.
Well, I do know back then because 2008 that was still maybe a couple years before I even started going to conventions and stuff like that. But even when I met Kyle and like Vic and some of the other voice actors in the early 2010s there, I know Kyle did kind of a radio theater-esque kind of at one of the conventions. He kind of did a radio theater comic
like panel. Yeah.
So
yeah, if you've never seen it, I'll send it to you afterwards if I remember to. It's an old video, but it's funny.
Yeah. Tried doing PE in school, and I just failed in every sport.
I was the king of dodgeball.
Well, I guess in some ways I was kind of lucky because at least when I was mainstreamed, now this is just my own school, some school districts, but at least in my school district, my home school district where I was basically from, I was mainstreamed, in 7th grade, and so 7th through 12th grade there. The PE classes didn't necessarily, at least from what I understood, they didn't necessarily grade you on athletic ability. They graded you more on at least the PE teachers that I had graded me more on effort.
I think in general, even like the ones I had were graded on effort too, as long as you were trying, right? There was every year there was a fitness bar that you had to pass, but that wasn't part of like your normal grade, like for the marking period. That was just like whether they were going to pass you for the year or not. But it was very low. It's like, I think for everyone, even the guys, though this sounds like something that should be like a girl rating, it was like a singular pull-up. You just got to get your chin over that bar once and you're good. It was like very low requirements like that.
Yeah. Well, I had, so I had PE for a couple years in high school, and I had actually, another one of the, not the same one who had me do that one test, but I had for my 8th and 9th grade year, I think, well, at least for my 8th grade year, I had a pretty good PE teacher. I think he understood my situation, which just knew how to, I knew how to get the best out of me. Anyways, he was one of the football coaches, so good guy. He passed on a few years ago, but I think of the 3 football coaches at the time, I know at least one of them has passed on. The other two might be retired, but I haven't heard anything. One of the others might have retired as well. But anyways, enough reminiscing. I guess I am drifting off a little too much here.
Yeah, we're gonna cover this one story because we keep going on tangents. They're fun tangents, though.
Yeah. Polaria bids you goodbye. We hope you have enjoyed your stay. This is the borderline. That's that. How can we ever? That's that. How can we ever thank you? I don't think we're done with that bunch yet. The Polarians turn homeward. They are a tricky outfit. We'll have to keep on the lookout. Halfway back, just as I thought, here they come with, just as I thought, here they come with some new trick. See those planes? The Polarian army is attacked by acid throwing planes. Okay, you know what the potential problem here is? I think it would be similar to like the gas issue.
Yeah.
Depending on how the wind is blowing, the wind could theoretically blow it back at the planes, or
these guys keep falling for the same classic blunders.
Yeah. But then, as we know, villains are not too terribly bright in most of these comics. In fact, I remember in DC Comics, they had Thomas Wayne once tell Bruce, that criminals are a cowardly and superstitious lot. Well, they're also a pretty stupid lot, too.
I mean, I think it varies, but definitely on the lower end of things, for sure, he's right about that,
Yeah. This calls for quick action. Those planes are hurling inflammable acid that will kill any man it touches. In a flash, Strongman lights a torch. This will be fun if I'm quick enough. I'm going to go off camera here for a quick moment. I'll be right back. So if you want to talk to the chat for a moment while I'm
gone. How is chat doing? Mind if I call you chat? I usually don't like being called chat. I don't know, maybe because everybody uses it. I always like it when people have like names for their chat specifically. That has to do with their branding, right? So this is the mic stand, like it's open mic night. I guess you guys are the audience. The sitting crowd, how are you guys doing? I kind of don't want to go back to talking about PE again because we got off that subject, so I'm not going to start wandering there. Have I bothered checking out Chainsmoker Cat? No, I haven't yet. It really wasn't on my list. I guess I could, though. Marsupials watched it. And I think he liked the first episode or two, but then got very quickly bored. And also, it was a little too disgusting for him. I think that was part of it too. I don't know if he's going to continue watching it or not, though. I did not get a clear distinction from him on that.
Yeah. All right. So, anyways, I'm back. So now let's continue on here. Of course. Yeah, this might be the only story. I was trying to at least keep it short tonight. I don't care. All right. So, anyways, let's get back to this. before the acid touches any of the Polarians. The more haste, the more speed. Strongman lights all the streams. The flames shoot up to the plains. Back in the United States, this would make a grand 4th of July. Watch it, General.
I don't know. Could use more explosions if you want it to be a grand 4th of July. Did you watch the one from this year? I watched the whole stream. That show went on forever. I think it was a record for like the most fireworks ever launched for a celebration. Yeah. The one at the White House.
Yeah, I didn't watch it myself.
Because it was also delayed, so a lot of people were already in bed by the time it finally. But, you know, I'm up anyway. I stayed up and watched the whole thing.
Yeah. The entire enemy air fleet is destroyed. The Polarian army resumes its homeward trek. That certainly ends it. I hope so. Well, I guess we've got nothing more to worry about. I have a funny feeling. You know, the way they write this, it's almost like they're trying to drag it on.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of padding in this story for sure.
It's like you think you're starting to get to the end, and then oh no, we got more. I mean, yeah, I know this is I guess supposed to be the headline feature, so they are trying to make it like 12, 13 pages.
Yeah, but it almost feels like it's written like a series of comic strips. You know, like when they have ever taken a bunch comic strips that were serialized to tell a story, but then they put it together as a comic book later on. That's what it feels like. Like there was a bunch of endings because this is where the strip originally ended, and then but it's still continuing. But this wasn't written as a comic strip. It's just written like it was.
Yeah. Part of the fifth column has remained behind and has set a trap in case of Polarian victory. Like, these guys just don't want to give up, do they?
Oh, never give up, never surrender. You know, if you've got a goal, you got to try. Though, I don't know, man. That in the past, that was before we had superhumans. If Strongman's around, I'm like, I don't know. Guys, unless we can find our own superhuman, we should probably give up. This is not going our way.
Chainsmoke Cat, I have heard Fizz, but I don't want to watch it.
It is pretty gross. Just putting it out there. Like, if you're not prepared for a few gross outs, it's kind of gross from what I've been told. I've seen, like, a scene from it that was on Twitter. I'm like, if the whole show's like this, I don't know if I want to watch the show. Not because it actually grossed me out. I'm pretty hard to gross out. I just didn't see, like, the narrative appeal of it. It could be good, though. I don't, from my perspective, if I actually watched it. The clip just didn't do anything to sell it to me.
Yeah, actually, an anime I recently covered news-wise with smoking as a partial theme.
Was it the one behind the corner store or whatever it was?
Yeah, that one. That would
seem narratively more interesting.
Yeah.
If you're up for a rom-com, right? Yeah. Like some people aren't, so it's like it's what.
But I think there's a bit of an interesting twist there in the rom-com genre there for that one. But anyway,
I just like rom-com, so I'd probably be down for it anyway.
Yeah. Halt your army, General. I don't like the looks of that spot in the road. You've been right every time, so I'll do it. Company, halt! He marches ahead into the trap. The traitors prepare to shoot the works. Have you reached the spot yet? Yes, wait 10 seconds more. Well, at least here, here it looks like they're giving us at least some idea of how to go. So
Yeah, we got some arrows here.
Well, one arrow, but I think that
it's the minimum amount necessary because then your brain fills in the blank, which is good because the way I would naturally read this would have been top left, then the one underneath it, then the long panel that covers both of it. So the arrow is absolutely necessary here.
Yeah. Whatever goes up must come down.
Oh yeah, we got a kabong.
Bang! He sacrificed his life to save the Polonian army. He's a true hero.
I don't think it was a sacrifice.
There are the culprits.
It's a decent explosion. Oh!
That was, I don't even know how that happened, but
we ended up where we're not supposed to be.
Let me. All right. I may have inadvertently hit something that that caused that to happen. But it looks like we're back on track here. All right, so he grabs a flying rock and hurls it at the evildoers as he starts to descend. Here's where I kill kill 3 jailbirds with 1 stone.
Now we'll find out if he metaphorically means kill or literally means kill, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people have died today, so probably literally.
Yeah. Strong man lands safely. It's amazing.
I guess we don't learn.
Huh?
I guess we don't learn. It just skips the results.
It's amazing you're unharmed. It was nothing, General. Just a few tons of dynamite, but I took care of the traitors who did it. I think Polaria has nothing more to worry about. At the Commander-in-Chief's headquarters, I don't know how to thank you for what you've done for Polaria. I have a message here from the aggressor dictator asking me to sign a non-aggression pact. That means he fears Polaria, but I'd advise you not to sign any pacts. You can't trust an aggressor dictator. Keep your army equipped and ready. That's your best insurance. Into the hallway of the theater where he came from, Strongman changes back to Percy Van Norton. I've had more fun tonight than I could have had at any show. Now to become Percy again.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with him.
Yeah. Here's where I get bawled out.
Yeah, I guess he was only gone for the length of a show.
Yeah. Well, I mean, theoretically, if he went to the like.
Well, yeah, it would be daytime in Eastern Europe while it was nighttime in wherever, like New York, wherever he's supposed to be.
Yeah. So, well, I know from here in California to England or to the UK, it's like 8 hours.
Yeah,
so
it'd be even further.
It's probably something like 10 hours from here in California. From New York, it's like 3 hours minus. So maybe about from New York to there would be like 7 hours. So if it's like 7 o'clock, let's say it's like 7-8 o'clock in New York, that might be what? Well, that'd be very early in the morning then, I would think, because 7-8 o'clock in New York. If it's 7 to 8, if it's 7 hours. So let's see, it's 5. That'd be 2 to 3 a.m. So maybe it's further away.
6 hours, if it's Poland. Poland is normally 6 hours ahead of New York.
All right. Yeah, but no, that would have still made it early morning. No,
yeah, that's fine. A lot of wars happen in the early morning.
Yeah, but I mean, 4 a.m. is for most places, maybe with the exception of places like Alaska or something like that, there's
summertime.
Yeah. Even in the summer, there's usually no sun at like,
Yeah, I actually don't know how it is up there. I know here, it's summertime, 4 in the morning, sometimes the sun's already up, but we're pretty south.
Yeah. Percy's friends come out. There you are, Percy. You missed the whole show. You must have been drinking all afternoon. Oh, so it's afternoon. But then that makes even...
Oh, that's worse. It should have been in the middle of the night.
Mm-hmm. And yet the way they drew it, it was like the middle of the day.
Yeah. We were giving them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. And we were worried about you. That's Percy all over. You needn't worry about Percy. He never does anything active enough to be dangerous. I guess I'm just a no-account nobody. Please accept my apologies. Strongman has saved the Polarians from the vicious attack of the aggressor. But an even more thrilling adventure awaits him next month. Get your Crash comic early and be sure to go along with Strongman as he performs his Herculean feats.
Also, did they mention what kind of show it was? Were they watching a movie or were they watching a play, right? Because, your average theater play is 3 hours, which would give him a lot of time to spare, right? To try to get over there, do all the stuff he did, get back. Watching a movie at that time, movies were pretty short back then.
Right. Yeah. For me, it's 2:42 a.m. All right. Well, yeah. You know how much of the sidetracking we did. It's like a minute. It's an hour 45 we're getting to right now.
So yeah.
So I think this is the only story we kind of got through tonight. But
it makes the question and answer easy because there's only one story, which means there's
only
one
answer. I'm not even going to ask best of worst stuff because there was only one story tonight. But what I'm going to ask you, of course, is just the general question of your overall impression of this story.
I think it was pretty fun. I think it was. I'm trying to remember the last Strongman. that I ended up seeing, but I think it was better than this one. Or no, this one was better than that one. So that seems uphill, right? It seemed very typical of a superhero story for the time. Like it was actually hitting the tropes and everything that were being developed. So yeah.
Yeah, one big story is what. Yeah. All right. So, well, what? So, you thought it was better than the last story, as compared to the normal fare we read. Would you say it was one? Would you say it's like kind of normal fare, or
Yeah,
one of
it's
the
probably
better
smack
ones?
dab in the middle, like average.
Yeah. Uh, Strongman is such a unimaginative superhero name. Well, I mean, some people would argue that Superman isn't really all that
Oh
imaginative,
yeah,
right?
it really isn't.
I
You should
mean,
be like calling a character fast man. Yeah, but actually, strongman at least is a job, right? Like it is a vocation that some people had. And actually, even today, some people have gone back into the strongman vocation. Fast man isn't really a vocation. It'd be the same as like calling somebody track star if they were fast. It's like, what do you do? I'm track star, right? But like a strongman's an actual type of guy, right? There was the circus strongman. Some strongmen weren't even in the circus, especially the closer you get to modern day. They're just people who did feats, and all they did was build muscle all the time. One of my favorite historic strongmen was Iron Samson. Great strongman, carried a horse across a river once. But so like, yeah, I think it would probably be closer to calling somebody track star or something like that, where it's like your name is just a vocation that has something to do with your powers.
yeah. So, well, anyways, so with that being said, then, now with that being said, we're gonna start to wind things down. So, of course, today is Sunday, August the 16th. I know I'm gonna, no, we probably will get something said in the chat here, um, pretty quick, knowing Natsuri. Um, and
It is that
Natsuri,
time.
yeah. Well, they know that it is indeed that time. As of course today is, as I said, Sunday, August the 16th, 2026. So it's time to take a look back at this weekend in niche history, and of course, so. And again, I have a character called the Milkman. All right, so let me just see here real quick. Yeah, August 15th, 1980. Yeah, 16, 20, 21, 16. And then August. All right, so first off, we're going to go back 40 years ago yesterday. On yesterday's date, 40 years ago, back in the year 1986. "40 years ago yesterday, from First Comics, the 35th issue of American Flag, spelled Flagg, with two G's, went on sale on yesterday's date 40 years ago. Sold for $1.25, and of course, it was 32 pages. It had two stories in it. The American Flag story, the main feature story, of course, which is Oklahoma, UK, and then there was no title for the second one. So with that, and 1986 is just so nice that we're gonna hit it twice. As also on yesterday's date, 40 years ago. Should I pull it up, of course? I believe premiering in Japanese theaters as part of the Lion Book series from Osamu Tezuka and produced by Tezuka Productions. The OVA movie Yamataro Comes Back, yes, was released on yesterday's date 40 years ago. So 40 years ago yesterday, Tezuka Productions released Yamataro Comes Back, which from what I read was part of the Lion Book series.
Kimba.
Tezuka. You know that?
I know Kimba. Yeah. No, I've seen most of like Tezuka's stuff. He's probably the most prolific manga and anime creators of his time. Kind of even like the father of what we know for both of those kind of like mediums.
Manga and anime?
Yeah, like he's like the forerunner that has set both of them into the directions they went. He's not the first to do either, but he took so many notes from like the Western stuff that was going on at the time, brought it in over to Japan, and kind of stylized it in a way that everybody just followed his footsteps going forward.
Yeah. All right. So, anyways, now moving on to today in Nietzsche history, of course. First off, we're going to head back 60 years ago today, as on this day, 60 years ago today, passing away at the age of 58, American radio and television actor John Mather passed away on this date, the age of 58. Of course, he was known for his role of Cisco Kid on radio. Also, in the world of animation or cartoons, he was the original voice of Wally Walrus in the Woody Woodpecker cartoons in the late 40s there.
Oh, okay, I can place that voice. Yeah, I know who he is.
Yeah, so on this date, 40 years ago, John Mather passed away at the age of 58 from heart attack, from what I read down further below. So, anyways, and finally, on this date 5 years ago today, the year 2021, WWE had its Go Home Raw prior to the SummerSlam, that year's SummerSlam event. It was actually the first year that SummerSlam was actually done on. It was actually on a Saturday. Even though the Wembley Stadium SummerSlam, the one with Bret Hart and Davey Boy Smith had main eventing it, was broadcast on Saturday. It was Sunday over in England, but this was actually the first. That year was the first SummerSlam that was actually on, Saturday. But this was for the go home show prior to that, so the Monday before the event, coming from the AT&T Arena in San Antonio, Texas. The main event saw Charlotte Flair and Nia Jax beat Rhea Ripley and Nikki ASH in 7 minutes. Among some of the other matches included Randy Orton defeating Omos by disqualification. We saw Damian Priest defeat The Miz. In a 2-on-1 handicap match, Drew McIntyre defeated Veer and Shanky. Rhea Ripley earlier in the night had defeated Nikki ASH, which I'm guessing set up the main event. Possibly. And in the opening match of the show saw AJ Styles defeat Riddle. All right, so with all that being said, I thank everybody for being here tonight. Of course, before we do leave, Metal, I want to give you one last opportunity, if you'd like to take it, to promote any projects you're doing. I think you know the shtick, right?
Yeah. Let me just go grab the link again, because it's pretty high up there at this point.
We were talking a lot tonight. There was just a lot of going on.
And I have to like type it in manually on my phone, but it's my website. I should know off the top of my head how to type the whole thing in, including the security protocol from my phone. Anyway, yeah, there's the link to xdynamuschaos.com, which is where you can find basically all of my projects at. Actually, if you want to go into that link and subscribe to the YouTube, like I said before, we have several demos up for the TTRPG that I'm currently working on. We're hopefully going to be running a one-shot over on Rick's channel, and I'll probably have it up on the X Chaos channel as well near the end of the month, if not like right afterwards. But you can also, there's dubs of the first chapter of X Dynamis Chaos, the webcomic, and of a On Tour with Mitch and Sandy short, and there should be one for an Awesome Max short coming soon if I can find the time to work on anything that isn't the TTRPG. But I've got lots of cool stuff, and you can spend hours on the website just perusing. With that said, too, I don't know if he's still around, but Raul was in the chat before. I have to thank him for following the Twitter and then liking like 20 of the posts randomly. My phone was just blowing up while we were reading of like, Raul liked a Twitter post, Raul liked this Twitter, which I'm grateful it was blowing up. We don't get enough likes over there, so people, you can follow the Twitter, you can follow like the Facebook page if you're only on Facebook, whatever. We've got lots of links everywhere, including the link to the Discord. You can find us wherever you are at over on the sidebar at xdynamuschaos.com.
All right. Anything more you want to add before we head out?
Like I said, I might do a stream. I have to kind of do a stream on the Vomitorium this week. Sometime I'll have to find the time to do it, to do the Fate collab for Honkai Star Rail. Oh, maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. We'll see. I'll see you then. But that's about it.
Yeah, if you can just stick around for a couple minutes for post-show stuff, that'd be appreciated. Get these last comments in. And Natsuri, of course, wishing us farewell. Thank you there, Natsuri. And with that, I thank everybody for being here tonight. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. I know we only got through one story tonight, but, sometimes things just happen. Sometimes you either get caught up in conversation or side topics and all that, But that's the beauty of it. This is why I call it the mic stand, getting into these conversations and, really getting people connected and engaged. That's kind of, I guess, if you want to call it my quote unquote mission, just getting people connected and engaged. I guess that's what you can do. Anyways, we'll be back tomorrow night with more Niche News, of course. And then next Sunday, now scheduled, of course, but as you guys know, sometimes doesn't always happen that way, but scheduled, I do have Shadowhawk scheduled next week. So hopefully he'll be ready to go and all that. So, and then Metal, I have you, let's see. Yeah, I have you back 2 weeks from today, scheduled. And then I have Rick. And then, as I've mentioned, these, unless something, I may have to still take a month off to at least prep and stuff, but unless something drastic, changes, unless like read comics online does happen to come back, these last few episodes of the historical comic retrospective will probably be it for a while until Read Comics Online comes back up, and it comes back up without me worrying about being tricked into some kind of warning or something like that, if you get what I mean. But with that being said, I thank you all for being here, and I hope to see everybody back here tomorrow. Bye.